What's going on, everybody? Rob here with 12 Baskets Ministry. This channel exists to share Jesus with people by teaching them what to do in the kitchen. In this video, we're going to go over some of the basic tools that you might need to start off actually cooking in the kitchen. So starting off is going to be a little bit different than some of the advice you're going to get from most channels and most experts. They will tell you to start off with a knife. Well, that's all well and good, but you're going to need something to cook in. So either a pot or a baking dish of some sort. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be this kind of pot. This is actually a Dutch oven. I do recommend getting something that's good and sturdy. You definitely want a thick bottom and you want a lid. The lid is going to help you keep the heat in, help you cook a lot of different types of meals and stuff like that. The thick bottom is going to prevent it from burning your food as fast. It'll help the heat to evenly distribute. You're going to be able to cook a lot more things versatily. I would recommend, honestly, getting a Dutch oven to use as your pot, either a ceramic or a cast iron one. Either one's going to be just fine. If you don't want to go with that, then the first thing I would go with would be a baking dish. It's thick tempered glass. It's going to withstand a lot of heat. You're going to have a hard time damaging this thing unless you just drop it and shatter it. So those would be, one of these would be the first thing that I start with. Then the next item that I would go with would be a nice chef's knife. Basically, the key with a chef's knife is get something that's going to fit comfortably in your hand. Okay, you'll see a lot of professional chefs that are going to hold it with a pinch grip like this. You don't have to do that. Just find one that fits comfortably in your hand. And then the other thing with this is it's going to be really tempting, especially if you go to one of the retail stores, to find a chef's knife that's $1 or $2. It seems like it's going to be the cheaper option. I would not do that. Ultimately, what I would do is get one that's a little bit more expensive. You can find one, depending on where you go, for about $5 or $6 that's good quality. It's going to be good steel. It's going to be sharp. It'll stay sharp longer. Because actually, what you're going to end up doing if you get the cheap ones, they probably aren't going to start off as sharp as the other ones, and they're not going to stay sharp as long. So what you end up doing is actually working harder, and it's more dangerous when you're cutting with a dull knife than with a sharp knife. Seems a little bit counterintuitive, but you're working a lot harder with a dull knife to cut something than you are with a nice sharp knife. So next is going to be really after the absolute must-haves with either the baking dish or the pot, and then the chef's knife is going to be what I would really consider to be the bare minimum kitchen tools that you're going to need. Okay, so first off, obviously, we're going to bring you back for just a second. You started off with one as your choice, either the pot or the baking dish in the must-haves. And then the other one, whichever one wasn't chosen before, is going to be the one that you want to go with your bare minimum kit. Okay, the next thing should be pretty obvious. You're going to need something to eat on. So you're going to want to do cups, plates, bowls, and silverware. Obviously, you're going to need at least, bare minimum, one per person in your household. And the same thing as with the knife and even the pot and stuff like that. I wouldn't go as cheap as possible because it seems like it's a good idea, but thin plastic, thin metal, stuff like that, it's going to bend, it's going to warp, it's going to break. Go with something that's a little bit more expensive, but is more durable and is going to be able to last you longer. The next thing you're going to want is some kind of spoon to cook with. Okay, I would recommend going with either a bamboo or a wood spoon. Plastic is pretty easy to deal with. It's going to kind of bend, it can melt, stuff like that. It's hard to melt the wooden spoon. There's actually a lot of recipes, if you look, they recommend using a wooden spoon anyway, and you're not going to do a whole lot to this. The only thing with using wooden utensils is if you're going to clean them in a dishwasher, these can't go in there. The dishwasher is going to ruin them. Okay, and then the next thing you're going to want is going to be a spatula. It's pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, its primary use is to flip stuff, whether you're making a pancake or a burger or whatever. But it can be used also, if there's something wrong with your spoon, if you lost your spoon, if it's broken, if whatever happens to it, you can use a spatula for stirring. Get one that's durable enough to withstand some sort of abuse. That way, you don't have to keep on replacing it every couple months. If you're going to be doing a lot of stuff with it, maybe get one that's a little bit wider than this. This is pretty thin. I mean, I've got a big hand, but still, it's not all that impressive. So one that's nice and flat on the end so you can do a lot of flipping. Next item on the list is going to be a can opener. Okay. Obviously, a lot of cans that you're going to have in the pantry have that flip top now, which is very convenient, but they don't all have it. Okay. So one thing with the can opener is a lot of people will use it what's actually kind of considered the wrong way. Actually, what you can do is if you press it on there like that, and I'm not going to squeeze it because I don't plan on using this can yet, but squeeze it on there like that, and then that's going to crimp on the side of the can, pulls off. You can actually set it back on there if you're not going to use the whole can, if you're only cooking for a couple of people. And then the benefit to that is the lid actually isn't very sharp. You can run your finger along the edge and it's not going to hurt you. And the first item that we have on the Simple Kitchen gear is going to be a good quality cutting board or chopping block. If you can find wood, that's actually going to be your best bet because it's not going to damage your knives as quickly. But bamboo works pretty well, and you care for both of them the same. Just maybe every month or so when you've got a wooden or a bamboo cutting board, use a little bit of oil on it, cover the whole surface. That way you can help extend the life of it and help save you money with, honestly, if you use vegetable oil, pretty cheap. Okay, our second item that we have on this list is going to be some type of metal baking sheet. These can be used for cookies, for small pizzas, things like that. It's pretty easy to have a wide variety as far as baking sheets go. Next item we have on the list is going to be a colander. Not mandatory by any means, but definitely helpful. My wife actually is very good at draining pasta and beans and really anything else that you cook in sauce that has to be drained just by taking the pot and holding the lid, and somehow she manages to not spill and not burn herself. And I can do it once in a while, but let's face it, most people can't. All right, a good set of tongs. You've already got a spoon and a spatula in your other list if you've been going in order here. A good set of tongs is going to help you out really anywhere that those are going to leave off. So tongs are pretty versatile. You can grab and flip even burgers or sausages with them. You can stir, you can take pasta and scoop it out. If you've got your pasta in a colander, scoop it out, and then what you're going to do is just kind of twist it and put it on a plate, and there you go. You've served it up. So you don't need a noodle fork for pasta. Tongs will work just fine in almost every case, especially the longer strands and stuff like that. All right, and the final item that we have on our list is going to be some type of pan or a skillet. Now, you'll notice that the one that I have here looks like a pretty hefty piece of hardware. Okay, this is actually a sauté pan. The good thing about this is, like the baking dish that we had earlier, it's going to be pretty versatile. Again, you want to get something that has a lid, that way you can trap the heat in if you want to, and then you want something with a nice thick bottom so that it can evenly distribute the heat. Thinner bottoms are going to cause your food to burn a lot more quickly. The heat's not going to be even on there. It's just a big headache. All right, guys, real quick, if you're finding that this video is helping you out, you're getting some information that you can use on it, if you could, click the like button. Help me out with actually getting this out to other people. And then also, if you want to hit the subscribe button, that's going to make it so that you can see the future videos when we come out with them. And then, guys, if you have any questions or comments as far as future videos you'd like to see, maybe some information that you'd like to know about any of these things that we've shared today, by all means, leave a comment. We'll get back to you as soon as we can on that. And then also, if you have suggestions for future videos, that would be great. God bless, guys. Have a great day.